Winston just said to me, Felix, do you think a lot of people are going to lose a lot of money on this whole AI rally, picking the wrong thing and not realizing what stage we're in and how that's going to affect things? And I said, you know what, Winston, that's actually a really, really good idea. Let's walk people through that, because the money isn't going to be made where you think it's going to be made. So welcome to this channel. Welcome back, Winston and Felix here. And we are diving deep today into the intersection between AI and finance. AI adoption on service and software companies and hardware companies like NVIDIA are what's really, really important here. And we're going to explore why these sectors will benefit the most from the AI revolution, drawing on lessons from the past while looking ahead and focusing on how we can make the most money out of this. Just as the semiconductor rush signaled the onset of the digital age, the current focus on these teeny tiny chips mark the early stage of AI adoption. Companies that can leverage AI to enhance their services or software solutions are now in prime position to actually capitalize on this technology, much like the early adopters of the internet are. We are in phase 1 and 2 of the AI trade, and I'll put a chart up here for you from Goldman Sachs so you can see what that is. So at the moment, semiconductors and hardware dominate as everyone's rushing to build out the most powerful computers and cloud computing. But the money is now to be made in phase 3 and 4. And most people don't realize that, and they're rushing into phase 1 and 2 late. By the end of this video, you will not be one of those people. And also, for you to get maximum value out of this video, I've prepared a full benchmark of all the AI stocks that investment bank Goldman Sachs recommends to their customers. Not to you retail lot and me retail lot, but to the actual customers. So tap the first link in the description or just go to felixfriends.org/AI and download the benchmark for free. Let's draw a historical parallel here. The internet boom, some of you remember it, some of you don't. The internet of the late 90s created one company that was synonymous with the internet, and that was Cisco Systems, which supplied key hardware, and it saw massive growth, a little bit like NVIDIA right now. And this is not an NVIDIA bagging video, by the way. I'll get to that conclusion in a moment. But it was Google, a company that used the internet to provide high-value, low-cost services that ultimately captured the immense value the internet had to offer. And that shift from hardware to service dominant is a pattern we're beginning to see with AI. Let's look at another historic parallel, the Automotive Revolution, when horses got replaced by robots on wheels, cars. And when cars were first invented, it wasn't really manufacturers like Ford who profited. Yeah, they did at the beginning, but fast forward a little bit. And the whole car adoption cycle was obviously much slower than tech right now. But who's making the money now in the last, say, 20, 30 years? Is it Ford? Or is it ancillary service companies like car leasing and financing? Those have massively outperformed rather than the ones that are building the hardware, because they found sustainable revenue streams that are repeat purchases and much higher profit margins. Compare Ford's miserable performance since 1990, up 33%. About a percentage point for each year. And then you have Avis up 4,800% despite the recent tumble in the share price. One is a service business, one builds stuff. What this is really all about is low marginal cost services. And I'm an old economist, so marginal cost was a big thing for us. But let me show you the real magic of AI in its ability to deliver huge value at minimal marginal or incremental cost. And that isn't building chips. It's service and software companies that have a scalable solution where adding an extra customer costs them virtually zero. They are insanely well positioned to benefit here because their business models focus on recurring revenues and high margins from repeat service purchases. So what kind of companies are likely to benefit here? And all of the ones that I'm giving you here also in that benchmark Just download it, felixprehn.org/AI. But let's look at some specific examples here. Companies like Salesforce and Adobe have already begun integrating AI into their customer experiences and streamlining operations and boosting their whole efficiency. And another very notable example is Palantir, which uses AI to essentially analyze big data, right? Provide insights that is critical for businesses and governments. And these companies have already shown that they're leveraging AI to create more value while reducing their own marginal cost. So that's very likely setting them up for long-term success. Microsoft is also an early adopter with its Copilot subscriptions. Apple is also about to harness its 1 billion plus devices out there with AI apps. Amazon is integrating AI apps into its cloud business. So a lot of these companies haven't really rallied all that much because everyone's just focused on semiconductors. So let's look at some more modern parallels here and where it's going in the future. Take Tesla, for example. Their integration of AI into self-driving cars, which really are going to be robots, and also robotics, not only enhance their own manufacturing capabilities, but it also opens up new revenue streams through technology licensing or robot rentals. Similarly, cloud companies and software providers are set to thrive by offering AI-powered solutions that just improve efficiency, reduce operational costs. Now, let's come back to NVIDIA, which is sort of the green giant in the room here. Their success ultimately depends not on how many chips they sell, because at some point, there will be a slowing down in innovation. And I don't think that's coming anytime soon, but it's going to happen. And their growth from 100% a year is going to go more into a sort of Microsoft 15-20% growth. And then eventually it'll get to like a 5% growth like Apple has with hardware sales. So what do they need to do? Well, they need to grow their subscription software and service businesses to get to a point where that exceeds the hardware sales. And that's where Apple is right now in terms of profit. I think about 45% of Apple's profit is now from services versus phone sales. So the phone sales create the ecosystem, which means people have to use your software to use those devices, and then you can keep upgrading those devices with more software and more subscriptions. To me, that's what the NVIDIA model is going to look like. So if I look at a long term here, well, as we've seen with past tech revolutions, the biggest initial winner are often those who provide valuable services at a low marginal cost. And those are the ones that actually survive. And with AI, I would expect history to repeat itself. It'll favor companies that can integrate and leverage this insanely transformative technology. And it'll be less about who's making the chip. But I do believe NVIDIA is in an insanely good position to create an Apple-like ecosystem. For example, the software I'm using to record this video is called NVIDIA Broadcast. I cannot use NVIDIA Broadcast without a relatively recent GPU from NVIDIA. That's power. Okay, eventually they're going to get fines from regulators for that kind of monopolistic behavior, much like Microsoft and so on have, but that doesn't really matter. They make enough money to pay for that. But really what I want to see from NVIDIA is, yes, we'll have another maybe 2-3 years of massive improvement in the speed of computer chips, but ultimately we'll get to a point where that'll become a marginal advantage because they will be so powerful, and the real advantage will be who's offering the best service, who's using it in a way that provides the most value for businesses and for consumers like you and me. So if you found that deep dive today useful, then don't forget to like and subscribe and perhaps share the video so you can stay up to date with Winston's brightest ideas. I love you for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Winston just asked me, Felix, is it too late to get in on the AI rally? And I said, Winston, you know better than that. Of course, it's not too late. And I'll show you exactly why. I will also walk you through my favorite AI stocks at the moment and when is the right time to buy them. And I'll teach you how you